Hey guys, Perri here with an exclusive Collider interview for you. You know how much I dig the Purge series, and now it is making the move to TV. We are 3 episodes in, and that makes me even more excited to have Jessica Garza in the studio. Thank you so much. And a huge congratulations to you.
Thank you. I'm very, very happy, very excited.
Based on what I've seen, and we're not going to spoil anything right off the bat, so if you're not caught up on the show, don't worry. But based on what I've seen in episode 4, there is just so much more to discover, and I can't wait.
Like I always tease this, but, so I'm just going to tease it. No spoilers.
Okay.
But where Penelope goes in episode 4 is unlike anything that's ever been in any Purge movie. It is honestly the most extraordinary, like, sickening, crazy, horrifying place that has ever existed.
Those are all my keywords there.
Yes.
I'm in.
It is very intense. It was very expensive and it looks very good.
I want to talk a lot about Penelope because even in episode 1, 2, and 3, she's in a pretty dark, mortifying scenario there. But before we talk about her, I want to talk a little bit about you because our viewers, they don't know you very well. So I don't know. Can you tell? Like, who are you? What are you into? How did you get into acting?
Oh gosh. So my name's Jessica. I moved to LA when I was about 17 years old with my family. My younger brother is also an actor as well. And so we moved out here from Dallas and we just tried the auditioning thing for a while. And
the parents were okay with it?
Well, I graduated high school a year early. The deal with my father was if I graduate a year early, you know, that year, that would be my senior year, I will spend in LA auditioning. So therefore, you know, if that year goes bad, if there isn't any progress, I can go to college and pick up just like everyone else my age. And so that was the deal we made. And so we went out there and it went well enough to like renew that contract essentially with my dad. And so just years after years after years, it's been going well for both me and my brother. And now I'm here.
What's your brother up to right now?
My brother is working on a movie in Toronto called Scary Stories to Tell. Do you know it? Yeah, Guillermo del Toro.
I know exactly.
Yeah.
Everyone here knows that Guillermo del Toro has my heart for life. He is such a gem. He's been in the studio. Good for your brother. Very lucky for him to get to work with Guillermo.
We both have like roles of a lifetime, like in this year. It's incredible.
Do you two ever, work lines or prep for auditions together?
We do each other's self-tapes, which is really weird because, like, we can't ever make eye contact. So, like, if I'm reading for him, I'm just, like, looking at the page really intently, trying not to, like, judge or, like, if he wants help, I'll help. But, like, at the same time, I don't want to throw him off. So, and then same thing for him. I'm like, don't look at me. Don't look at me. Like, I'm doing, like, a scene with, like, my boyfriend, and I'm like, it's like, just don't look. Don't look.
Oh, I never thought about all the awkward possibilities that would come with something like that. I went through that with my little sister when she wanted to get into the business that I was in, and we were both working for the same site, and I was an editor, and she would send me her reviews, and I'm like, I don't want you to, think badly of me if I give you some critiques, and it just never really worked. I'm glad you guys have made it work.
Yeah, we do okay. I think we know each other well, and like I feel, I'm the bigger sister, so I feel like nurturing in that aspect,
Have you gotten the opportunity to work together?
No. I don't know if we could do it. We're too similar. We would just clash.
You guys would have to get some sort of a show or movie where you could actually play brother and sister.
Probably.
So let's jump into the Purge now, and specifically about the audition process for Penelope. Yeah. So, I mean, what exactly happens? Because there's a lot of range in this character where not only are you put through the ringer physically, but also emotionally, mentally, all of that. So, first day of auditions, what do they hand to you? What are the sides?
So when I first got like the audition notice in my email, I honestly had a panic attack immediately. I had actually come very close to a USA Sci-Fi Blumhouse show only a couple months beforehand, second choice in that manner, and so you just like get in your head of like all of this like. Can I curse?
You can. We are at Collider. Okay. Curse away.
Like all of this bullshit, you know what I mean? Where you try to trick yourself into thinking that you're not good enough or that these people didn't want you, you know what I mean? And it's bullshit because it's so much more complicated than that. So many people make these decisions. It's, very rarely is it so clean cut, right? So I was freaking out. It was USA, it was Sci-Fi, it was Blumhouse. It's the same casting office, But because of that, those casting directors had already known me. They had already supported me, and they were like there to root for me again. And with that support system, they brought me straight to producers. And so I read for Crystal, one of our co-executive producers. I met her, and then about a week later, I Skyped with our showrunner, Thomas Kelly, which was scary because it was the first time someone only wanted to talk. I was like, can I act? Like, this is like, I was like.
What did he want to talk about?
Like, he just wanted to talk about the show and Penelope and me and, like, where I grew up and who I was, and what I wanted in this career. And he's a sweet guy. He just wanted to get to know me. But it's scary because you're like, I just want this to be based off of, my work, but he it's very important to Tom that he hires people who are good and inherently polite and prepared people. So we had an amazing set because he hired everyone.
This is so refreshing to hear. It's just because that's the way I operate.
He runs a well-oiled set.
Yeah. If you've been on any set out there, it's it's obviously
crazy.
A lot about talent, but it's also about being a good person to work with.
Absolutely.
And one actor who can give another what they need as well.
Yeah, he hired, all of us down to all the way, to the PAs. So, he was there for it all. So it's very important to him that, it was a home and it takes a village, and he knows that.
It's weird hearing such positive terms being applied to such a sinister, evil show.
Maybe that's what it is. We all do such dark stuff all day. It's nice to have a little bit of fun.
Well, I always say that about horror filmmakers and horror lovers, is that they do tend to be like the sweetest, nicest people in the world. I guess you just get it all out on screen.
They understand the darkness, for sure. So I Skyped with him, and we just had a lovely conversation, and he would say things that were just like, if you ever have questions about, like, why does Penelope do this or that? You can just come by the writer's room and ask me anything. And he was talking to me as if I had gotten the role, and I definitely hadn't. So it was very scary because so many times in my career I had come so close and had kind of been told that unofficial yes, and then it switches and it twists, and all of a sudden it's that devastating no. So you can't, it's this weird thing of trying to stay excited but not getting cynical too.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any like ideas in your back pocket to manage things like that? Because I feel like no matter how long you work, you still encounter that it still hurts.
It's so difficult. I when a couple years ago I found like this SAG conversation with Gina Rodriguez, and she has they ask her like, what's your process with auditioning? And she answers it so eloquently of just like, she would go in there just being like, I want this, please give this to me, I want it so bad, you don't even have to pay me, but that doesn't work. You have to have a sense of self and a sense of confidence and know like, this is the story that I can tell. If this is like conducive to what you want, then great, like let's do this, it's gonna be fantastic. And if it's not, then like I sincerely hope you find who you're looking for. But it's very hard to come to that mental standpoint. You have to, it's something I think you have to just learn and go through in order.
It's pure confidence.
Yeah.
You gotta build that.
Yeah, and it's hard, when, even if you don't work so often, it's like, where does that confidence come from? It just totally comes from within you. And so it's a lot of self-work, a lot of self-care. But yeah, so like he was telling me this stuff and I was trying to like block it out but not get too excited. And then about a week later, I tested for Penelope, which is like your final round. Like this is it. It's all or nothing. And I met him. I met Tom Kelly in person. I met Crystal again, and we did a couple of the scenes. And again, in the audition room, I did a scene and he was like, I love what you're doing, but can we do it kind of the way that I envisioned? Just so that I can see it, but it doesn't even matter because I'm just going to rewrite this for you later anyways. And I'm like,
oh, wow.
I'm like, some girl just went in before me. There's probably a girl after me. Like, what are you talking about? And then that was a Tuesday, and on Friday I got the call.
And how'd you celebrate?
I went to the Cheesecake Factory. My agent and manager.
No judgment here. I would probably do something similar.
They make fun of me so bad for it, but like I love the Cheesecake Factory. They have everything.
That's what it's about. It's like birthday celebrations are about you doing exactly what you want, whether or not someone else approves of it.
Exactly. So I went with my family, my mom, my dad, and my brother, and it was very exciting.
Oh, I love that. That's so nice. Curious, now that you brought it up, how was the original Penelope that you originally read for different from the one you have now?
There, of the like 3 scenes, there's only one that like doesn't exist anymore. So it's very familiar, and actually like on set, like throughout the filming process, Tom and we would have some execs from Blumhouse come in and talk to me about how much Penelope has actually expanded from their vision once they hired me. And it's an incredible honor and compliment. You know what I mean? Like, they went to, I owe a huge thank you to Anthony Hemingway, who directed our first 2 episodes, because I heard from Eben Davidson at Blumhouse. He told me, like, you know, after those first 2 episodes, we went to Anthony and we were like, we really want to expand Penelope. We'd really like to make her more dynamic than what we had planned for. Is this something that you think Jessica is capable of? Can she do this? And he was like, absolutely, which meant everything to me, because those first 2 episodes, I was so anxiety-ridden, and I looked back on them thinking I did a horrible job. Like, I didn't believe in myself, and Anthony did. And so it's so important in this industry to find people that do, because, you know, he brought me home. You know what I mean? He did that for me.
Oh, that's crazy to me that you think that. It's a good performance in that it simmers kind of the first episode and the second. And also, I don't want to spoil anything yet, but where you start in terms of those first 3 episodes to what clicks and winds up happening is a major thing to be able to shoulder.
I can't even begin to describe to you the transformation come episodes 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Like, it's incredible.
Wait.
Incredible.
I cannot wait.
The arc is just amazing.
Oh, that's so refreshing to hear.
It's very exciting.
Especially with, I've been super into the Purge, and I love the first 2 films, and I didn't really love the last 2, the most recent ones, as much. And it's interesting to me to see this Purge TV series, I think, go back a little and tap into what was captured so well, particularly in the first. So were you a fan of the Purge series before? Do you happen to like one movie more than another?
Yeah, Anarchy is definitely my favorite. I
Frank
feel like
Grillo. I get it.
I feel like it's kind of a general consensus that is the favorite too. But just the street aspect is so fascinating. It really gets into like how gnarly humans can be. But I had never seen them. I had been very aware of them. It's a tradition every year for my dad and I to go do horror nights. Yeah, so like it's always a thing there. It always opens the night. There's a maze. There's a scare zone, something. There's always something. So I was always very fascinated for it. Even I think it was like 2015, I dressed up as a purger, which is really funny because now I spend my time running away from them. But I had been very aware of them despite never seeing them. They had such a like cultural footprint, you know what I mean, the last couple of years. And so when I auditioned for it, I had seen all the ones that were out, which were the first 3, and I've seen the 4th, and it's been a journey.
It really has been one heck of a journey. It's been interesting seeing this series also evolve from something that felt, at least to me at the very beginning, like, pure horror entertainment to tapping into reality. And I think that's where I've been a little conflicted, even though, for example, I think the first Purge is a very well done movie, but I'm like, I'm going to keep watching 1 and 2. How do you, with this show, kind of find that balance between entertainment value and also, the real kind of, I guess, a warning sign that a series like this is?
We like to use the phrase like a cautionary tale. Like
Makes sense.
That's truly what it is. I think the balance of like, the first film and then the rest is really, our show really represents all of it, because I think the first one you really got to understand that family in the dynamic that they had, and you understand who they were as people. It establishes it very quickly, and that's what makes it so good. And then it spins the rest of the movie in just pure Purge fun. So like our show, we get this because we have so much time in television, we get to be able to really delve into our characters with flashbacks and so that you can really understand who these people are and how they ended up where they are on Purge Night. And then, of course, it's Purge Night, all 10 episodes. So, like, there's purging every single episode all the time.
It is so refreshing to get to spend that extended period of time, and also with so many different characters too, and so many different perspectives. Because the interesting thing about the Purge is anyone could do anything. It doesn't have to be strictly putting on a mask and killing.
Sure.
You have the NFFA. You have what your character is up to.
Absolutely.
Of all the other characters, before we get into Penelope, if you could swap roles with anybody on the show, who would it be and why?
I think really honestly, the only one I think that I could do is probably Jenna. Me and Hannah are so similar in terms of how we approach like vulnerability. Like I think you'll come to find that Jenna and Penelope are the most vulnerable characters on the show. Like Jane is so good at putting on such a strong front. You know what I mean? Like she like
is
this
something
badass,
else in that role.
Yeah, she's like this badass businesswoman, and me and Hannah are just like you know? So I think I could maybe step into Jenna. But we all have a lot of work cut out for us.
Yeah, that does not surprise me one bit. Talking a little bit about some of your beginning scenes in the show, particularly the blue bus and working with Fiona Dourif, who, oh my God, is a thing of nightmares in that role. How was it working with her there?
She's amazing. She's very good at. She really wanted to form relationships with me and the girl who played, the guy who played Arthur, the girl who played Melissa, and even just our background, on that bus who, they come in, they sit on a bus, it just seems like a simple thing to do, but it was very important for her to establish a relationship, because then in turn they'll feel comfortable, she'll feel comfortable, and it'll feel like the family that it's supposed to feel like. And so, yeah, she was incredible. She was incredible. She does her thing and she does it so well.
Yeah, that's for sure. I don't know if some of the flashbacks will get into this, so you don't have to answer if it does, but do you do any kind of character backstory in addition to the connection we do see to
in episode 3?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Episode 5 is Penelope's big episode.
Okay.
It's the one I remember getting the script for it, and it's literally more than half of the script. Whew. So it's a lot of Penelope and a lot of Miguel too, because that's it really, there's someone who Penelope encounters in the place that we go to in episode 4 that really kind of changes her outlook on the night. And so we get into flashbacks of that person. We get into flashbacks of Miguel and Penelope like in foster homes. We get flashbacks of, how we went our separate ways and ended up where we are. So you really get to see, I think it's really easy for a lot of people to be judgmental, and which is fair, you know what I mean, and say like, she's an idiot, she's a moron, why would she join this bus? And she's to be very blunt, she's suicidal, and then she's broken and she's in a very vulnerable place, and episodes 4 and 5 will really make you come to empathize with that.
Having watched through 4 now, I am connecting the dots, and I'm eager to see 5 now more so than ever. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about how active you are on social media too when these shows air, because that seems to be, with the rise of social media, that's a really powerful tool to have to connect you with the viewers, and also the viewers to have that extra level of engagement that we never really used to have. So what's that experience been like? Have there been any reactions that surprised you?
Yeah, there's one in particular that is so on the nose for how it ends, and I was shocked.
Oh, no.
I was so shocked, but nobody saw it. There were no retweets, no favorites. It disappeared into oblivion. But it's really fascinating to see, what people kind of think is going to happen. For me and Miguel, it's a little, will he find her or not? But for other characters in particular, it's really interesting to see what they think. Who is Jane's assassin for? Will Rick and Jenna, complete their end of the deal? So it's really fascinating to see also what people are saying about the show as a whole, and then other characters, because I know Penelope very well and I know Miguel very well, so it's fun to see everything else.
So do you know everything that's going to happen with the other characters?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was looking at some of your tweets, and it's sometimes when it's your character, you'll chime in when it pertains to you, but you seem to know a lot of little ins and outs about all of them.
Yeah, well, I try, even though we're separated, all of us are kind of in our own storylines. There's moments where they will blend, and I've always read, their stuff from script 1. I read, you don't have to, but to me it's important and it's fun and I enjoy it. I like seeing what happens with the threesome and with Jane and even our masked man in particular. Every script would come out and I'd be like, what the fuck is this guy doing? And I'm like, I don't know what is going on with him. And so for it to unfold is really exciting.
I'm still in that zone right now.
Like,
I really do want to know.
He seems good, but he's dressed like he's kind of scary.
Before we jump into spoilers, are there any either costumes or sets that have particularly struck you, caught your eye, wowed you?
Yeah, I feel like I've been very, very lucky. I feel like Penelope has like most incredible costumes and sets. Like I have this really cool, blue party bus and this like awesome cloak. And like, I feel like if there's not one person who doesn't dress up as Penelope as Halloween, I'm going to be disappointed.
Did you see anything at Halloween Horror Nights yet?
No.
Do they have the show in there?
They have the maze is based off the first Purge.
Oh, okay.
So the movie that
makes
just came
sense.
out this summer. So it's more drawn towards that. But yeah, so like the cult stuff is incredible. The costumes, the bloody nuns that you see in 3 are amazing. Our costume designer Lauren Bott is incredible. And then like I kind of said at the beginning, the place that we're going to.
Yeah.
We spend a couple episodes there, and it's a game changer.
All right, this is it. I'm flipping the spoiler switch right now. You guys have been warned. We're going to leave the door open to talk about anything that has happened from episode 1 to episode 3. So if you're not at that point yet, tune out now, go watch those episodes, come back, and then listen to this conversation. I was so excited to ask you about the scene with Melissa.
Okay.
Because the emotional value of something like that, it really just floored me.
Yeah.
And when you had one other person sacrifice themselves before, the fact that hit so much harder, it broke my heart.
Yeah, I think a lot of the stuff that I've been seeing too with like fans and whatnot is they don't understand how after what Penelope sees with Arthur, how she isn't already like, I'm out, this is done, we're out of here. But I think for me, like, like my process in terms of approaching playing Penelope, Arthur was like the first bad sign, but he seems still willing. I think, from my point of view on the bus, I didn't get the sense that he didn't want to do what he was doing. And then again, we're preached by lovely Fiona that it's 1 second of suffering. It's just one quick violent flash, and then it's eternal happiness. It's like this is the sometimes rewards come with a price, and this is the price. And so, but what was so different for like Penelope experiencing Melissa's choosing was she didn't want to go. She did not want to go. She was screaming and begging and crying for her life. And even if, I don't know if you guys catch this, but in the beginning of episode 2, I'm like, you'll never have to see your father again. Or that was 1, I think. Even that was episode 1. I was like, that monster, you'll never have to see him again. And then when she is chosen in episode 2 and she gets dragged off the bus, she's screaming, Daddy. She's like, Daddy, Daddy, please, no, Daddy, please. And it's just devastating.
Even just hearing you describe it right now, it's making me sad for her all over again.
I know, it's devastating. And I think the difference is like, for good leader Tavis to do that to Melissa was a betrayal in Penelope's eyes. But it's still trying to fight that. And
well, I mean, that's the nature of the group, is that you're there willingly. So if someone very clearly verbally announces that, nope, not in anymore, you would think the person that you trusted would say,
exactly.
Off you go then.
Exactly.
It's fine.
And that's the scary thing about the Purge, is that the enemy is definitely can almost always be in the face of people that we love and trust.
Yeah.
So that you'll find that with a lot of characters more than just Penelope. So when Emmanuelle, who plays Melissa, was screaming.
She was so good.
She has a great scream. She has a great scream. We were, doing that scene. It was 5 a.m. when we were filming that scene. It was like hour 14. It was a long night. That was the last scene of the day. Didn't even really have to try, honestly. She was so phenomenal, and Fiona was so chilling that it all just seemed to fall into place really naturally.
Are you guys able to kind of turn that on and then turn it off? Or after an emotional scene like that, do you kind of have to relax and decompress?
Sure. It depends. That if I have to be in kind of that state all day, I'd rather just kind of stay in it all day. It's easier to just cry all day rather than to cry and not cry and cry and not cry. It honestly depends, though. I mean, it's amazing what your body can do when it's committed to this. Like, it'll be like hour 9 and it's like, I don't have anything left in me. But you do. You find it. You will, yeah.
Do you have a tactic to kind of get into that headspace? I was doing like a random, almost like a comedy shoot the other day where I was supposed to be watching a movie screen, and they're like, laugh, scream, cry. And it isn't until, especially when you're not an actor, that you sit there and you're told to do something like that you realize it's for me at least, it's next to impossible to get myself to really believe that.
It's incredibly difficult. It's a skill. It's a muscle. Quite honestly, it's a muscle. It's like anything else. You have to work on it. You have to work it out. You cannot lose it. I use music. Music really helps me get in the zone. Sets, as you know, are very chaotic, very loud. There's a lot going on, and you put the headphones in, and if your PAs and your hair and makeup know, like, once the headphones are in, this is where I'm in, and like, do your thing, come in here, do my hair, do my makeup, and then, exit, then it's like, great. You know what I mean? So like, I use music, and my, the set really, we all learn how each other works in that process. Everyone's different when it comes to that kind of thing. And that's how I work, and they were very accommodating. It was great.
What was the group direction like on the bus, too? Because especially when you brought up earlier that his name is Arthur, right? The first. Yes. So when that happens to Arthur, it's not just you in the window, it's everybody.
Sure.
So are you guys all as a group being directed on how to react to what happens with him?
Yeah. For me, it's a little different. Like, Anthony would directly talk to me when he had any direction for the background, and like, again, for Melissa and Arthur as well, it was Anthony is who would talk to us. For background, it's a little bit different, just like socially in terms of like how it works on a set. But I think like every once in a while I would overhear something. It'd be like you over there, like you look like really excited that this guy's being hacked into pieces, and like you over there, like you're starting to question, and like everyone kind of had like their little set of direction, and so they tried to make it a variety of
which is very effective, because like my eyes are like darting around the entire bus trying to figure out what everybody's gonna do
exactly
next.
And then it's like it's like chant this, don't chant this, prayer prayer hands now, prayer hands not. So it's there's all kinds of stuff every time.
Another burning question that I have for you is, what do you want viewers to take from the Purge TV experience overall, or maybe specifically with your character? Because like I had said before, one, it's about entertainment, but also these are some very possibly real issues that some people could be dealing with.
For sure. I think number one, it's entertainment, and to not go out there and purge people. Number two is I think our show is truly a cautionary tale. I think, and this is where we can relate it into the life that we're all living today, is that rather than so quickly resorting to violence, we stop and think about what we're saying and what we're doing. And not just violence, but in terms of like when we're having conversations in terms like about politics or disagreements in general, we try to understand and question before we decide to argue and yell. Do you know? Because I think that's kind of like what our show is a metaphor, is how quickly things can go sour if we don't try to understand each other. And I think that is the ultimate like theme of the Purge.
It's on display big time. There's one particular example that my mind is going to where, you make a certain decision in the heat of the moment, and then you realize the reality of what you've just done, and you want to take it back.
Exactly. So just really thinking things through and trying to remember that we're all much more similar than we are different.
So to wrap this up now, a couple questions actually to wrap it up. First, this is going to be an anthology series, right?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we don't know if there can be, Penelope season 2.
There could be. I think it's, honestly, it's up to you guys. You watching. It's, how you respond to it and who you fall in love with and who makes it. So, yeah, like it's. I think it's all up in the air. We're playing it by ear.
Cool. I'm very eager to see how it evolves, especially because, you so quickly fall in love with so many different characters, but then it's the Purge, and the idea of being able to explore so many different places, so many different reasons to do what everybody does. Actually, so it's a little bit of a twisted question now, but we recently answered this on an episode of The Witching Hour. It's our horror podcast here, and we talked heavily about the Purge in this episode, and I want to take like the real evil, sinister stuff out of it.
Okay.
If you had to rob any store on Purge Night, what would you choose and why?
Target.
So I picked an Apple store.
That was a good one.
My co-host went with a bank, I think, ultimately.
Okay,
no. She eventually took back the bank and she went Sephora, and now we have Target.
I just love a good Target haul. I love a good Target haul. You go in there for one thing and you come out with much more than you need. So I feel like that would be the place to go.
All right. You have justified the choice very, very well. And also, just even beyond the Purge TV series, do you have any kind of milestone goals? Any particular people you want to work with? Maybe a type of film or show that you want to do that you haven't yet?
For sure. Like I before I booked the Purge, I was really making a run with comedy. And so I'd be really excited to kind of jump into that after doing this for 4 months. So that's where like my goals are set right now. And I'd really love to do some of that.
I want to see that now after having seen you in so many episodes of this, where it's the exact opposite.
I know.
Are you a big movie and TV watcher yourself outside of work?
Yeah, I mean, the last 4 months have totally dominated my entire life. So the TV has been slacking, but normally I'm pretty well on it.
What is your favorite new thing that you've seen this year?
I know it didn't come out this year, but I just started watching Mindhunter before I started Purge, and I love it. I'm very into serial killers, true crime, conspiracy theories, cults, the whole thing. So
there are so many ways to apply those interests to the Purge.
No, it's true.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time today. This was such a pleasure.
Yeah,
I'm so happy for you. I know my co-host Haley Fouch is too. We're very excited about the Purge series. Yeah. So Jessica, huge congratulations to you. Everyone, if you have not seen it yet, check out the Purge TV series. It's on USA. Truly, not just saying it because you're sitting here. I really recommend it. Congratulations again. Thank you to everybody for watching and listening to this interview. We will see you soon with more Collider exclusives.